Super Retro Force.
What's going on, my fellow Belmonts? It's the Mad Belmont here of the Super Retro Force, and today I'm going to be going over my thoughts, my review basically, of Castlevania Season 1, the Netflix anime, aka Netflixvania, as it's known within the Castlevania community. And today I'm doing this review simply because I did find out that Castlevania Nocturne is getting a brand new season, Season 2, in January of 2025 over on Netflix, so that kind of got the gears turning a little bit. It made me say, alright, time to review all of the seasons of the show that are already out. So I'm going to go through all of the original run of the show right here. Now, I do only have this copy physically, but I do have the rest of the series digitally, so I can still watch it, I can still review it for y'all. We're all good there. But anyway, so here's how my reviews will work, is I'm going to go over the positive aspects, the mixed aspects, and the negative aspects of these seasons of the show. And then after I do all of that, I'm going to give you my final thoughts at the end, plus tell you if I recommend that you watch it or not. That's how these reviews are going to work. So without further ado, let us get straight into it, shall we? So starting off with the positives here for Netflixvania Season 1, I have to say I love the artwork and the animation. The artwork does a really good job of balancing that gothic horror kind of Universal Monsters feel within an anime aesthetic, kind of like the later games in the franchise in the 3D space. Like, I don't know how well you can see it back there. You can't, the glare's too much, but with Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness, how they kind of balance the two out pretty well. I feel that it's done that way here in the show, and so much so, actually, hold on, give me just a second here, I had to get this art book. Because, yeah, this is great. One of my friends on Twitter ended up getting me this book. I would have got it for myself if it wasn't for her. So, thank you for that, Cookie. I still appreciate the heck out of this. Then going into the animation is pretty typical fare for a good anime. And let me say that because there are some pretty bad animes out there, and you can tell just based off of the animation, it's not really done with the type of labor of love and passion that is here in Netflixvania. You're going to see some clips of the show from this season from time to time in this review here, so use those to judge how well the animation is. But I absolutely love the animation here. I do not feel that it takes away from anything. I do not feel like it breaks any of the immersion. I honestly feel like it's really good. Really helps me get immersed into the show. Now we get into the story. And the story of this is humanity has basically went and pissed off Dracula by burning his wife Lisa at the stake and accusing her of being a witch, so that's why they had to burn her. And Dracula gives them 1 year to basically kind of stop with the perversion, stop with all this really messed up stuff that they're doing, and if they don't, then he's gonna unleash his horde onto them. And he gives them a year. They do not change whatsoever, mostly thanks to the church, and Dracula gets really pissed off and basically just unleashes his horde on them. And this season is about Trevor and Sypha and Alucard coming together and going off to take care of Dracula. And so this story right here, I love how grounded it is. It is grounded just like the game was, but obviously, it's not told in the exact way that the game is, and I'll get into that more in the negatives, but for right now, I do have to say, even though it's not told exactly one-to-one, I do like how grounded it is. I like how realistic it is. I like that Dracula is not the main villain in this first season, and I love how it takes a look at mankind. You know, it takes a look at humanity and the kind of messed up things that humans can do, especially when they're under the influence of people that they see as idols and stuff like that. Really, really cool subject matter here, and I'm glad that they talked about that and did it in a way that does not feel like they are talking down to you. It really feels relatable in a way, so I like that. Also, I do have to admit, I do like the character designs here in this show. I like Sypha's design. I feel like she's really cool. I like Alucard's design. I like how they kind of took inspiration from Symphony of the Night and then they kind of added a little bit more of an anime aesthetic onto it. I really like Trevor's design here. I like the scarring. I like his hair. I like the outfits that he has with, you know, the really cool dress shirts and the pants and the boots and the fact that he wears these fur coats over it. Love it. Absolutely love it. And yeah, so that is going to do it for the positives. Now we get into the negatives here of Netflixvania Season 1. And to start off, I have to talk about the fact that this season is only 4 episodes long. That's right, only 4 episodes long this season is. And to me, that is just abysmally bad. And it's kind of uncommon. You don't see a whole lot of seasons of anything, let alone something with a name like Castlevania attached to it being so short in the first season. My theory on this thing is I think it was just a test season for Netflix. They wanted to see if people would kind of receive this well, and if they didn't, they were going to cancel it. But if they did, which obviously people did, they were going to extend it, and then they were going to kind of continue off of the first season story in season 2, which is exactly what ended up happening, because season 1, and this is my second point here, season 1 just ends abruptly. I'm not going to tell you what is going on here, but you'll get to a point in episode 4 where you're thinking, okay, here we go, things are going to start ramping up. I'm going to start seeing, you know, some action, some more action. I'm gonna see some crazy things going on here, and then all of a sudden, done. Like that. And you're just like, what the heck, man? Like, you were leading me on, and then you just completely pull the rug out and under me. Now, what you all have as a benefit that I didn't, because I saw this thing when it first came out, is because you all can just go straight into season 2 automatically, especially if you buy the physical copies. Well, for me, I didn't have that luxury. I saw it on Netflix, and I was sitting there for months waiting and waiting and waiting and wondering if Netflix was going to cancel it, because they were really super cancel heavy at the time. Hell, they still are. And I didn't know if Castlevania was going to be on the cancel list, on the cutting block, but thank God that it wasn't, because that season ending that abruptly, and if they would have canceled that show, oh my God, I would have flipped my lid. But thank God we didn't get that. And now that leads me into my third point here, which is, yeah, the story's all fine and dandy and everything like that, but it wasn't told the best way. And one of the reasons why I say that is because there were some characters missing here. One in particular that I know a lot of the fan base loves to point out, and it's right because he is supposed to be here, Grant the Nasty. Okay? It is known in the game that you have Trevor, Sypha, Alucard, and Grant as your 4-person group. Okay? It is a 4-person group. Not 3, 4-person group. And so, I hate that Grant is left out here. And I can safely say this. Grant is not in the entire first run of this whole Netflixvania series, okay? He's not in here, and that still pisses me off to this day, because I love Grant, okay? He was one of my favorite characters in the game, and now I don't get to see my boy in this show? Are you kidding me? Like, come on, man. So, you got that. And then, the cherry on top of the crap sundae with this season, in my opinion, is you take my favorite Belmont in Trevor, and you give him this really badass design. And then you go and you absolutely destroy his character. How did they do that? You might be wondering. Well, they made the Belmonts a family that was excommunicated from the church. And then you have Trevor, who is this really bitter and dumb drunk, who just so happens, by the way, to be able to fight his way out of basically anything. And to me, that's not Trevor. That's never been Trevor. If you play the game, that is not Trevor. Trevor is this young guy who basically is forced to just go into the situation because in the game, the entire public, even the church, fears the Belmont family and fears Trevor. They are scared of Trevor because of his supernatural abilities. But within the confines of this story, it makes sense as to why he's so bitter and everything like that. So I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense within this story, because it does within this version of the story. But to me, like, just because he's my favorite Belmont and because he's one of my favorite characters in video games, the way that they treated him here in this first season of the show, they got better with his treatment later on as this series goes on. But this first season makes me want to, oh God, makes me get so mad every time I see Trevor, because I'm just like, you should have been treated better, bro. You should have been treated better. But he wasn't. So that's a thing. So now we get into my final thoughts here of Netflixvania Season 1. And I feel that, like I said in the review, some areas were done absolutely phenomenal. And then there were areas where I thought that the writers were making some of the worst decisions I've ever seen with an adaptation. It is a good show for what it is. If you take it for what it is, it's a good show. But if you're looking at it from a perspective of this is an adaptation of video games that I play, then you're gonna absolutely rip it apart like I have seen people within this franchise fan base do, okay? People within the fan base for this franchise, if they look at it from an adaptation point of view, they are going to rip it apart. If you look at it with an open mind and you see the story for what it is, you're gonna have a good time with it, like I did. I was on both sides of the fence here. At first, I was on the side of the people that were looking at it as an adaptation. I wanted a one-to-one retelling of the exact same story. Rip this thing to shreds. Then, I got a more open mind. I saw it for what it was, took it for what it was, and now I have a much better experience with it. So, depending on how you see it, is how you're going to kind of take this. But overall, I would say that Netflixvania Season 1 here is worth checking out. If you can buy it physically here, like I have, then this is the best way by far to watch this show, because I watched it on streaming. I have, but oh my goodness gracious, seeing it on a Blu-ray like this. By the way, Caesar, look at that. see, holographic cover. I know you like that. But yeah, so seeing it in physical media is the best way to see it, because with movies and with anime and stuff like that, physical media will always reign supreme. So I would say check it out, and if you can, absolutely pick up this Blu-ray right here. You are not going to regret it. So that is going to do it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to leave a like on it. It will really help me out a lot. Also, if you're looking for other content around retro gaming and gaming in general, then please be sure to go check out my team, the Super Retro Force. We have a channel, which is down in the description below. It's in the description of every single video that I upload, and you will see that right down there. Now, also, I have teammates that have their own individual channels, and they all deserve all the support in the world, just like the team channel does. So, again, please be sure to go check their channels out in the description down below. As well, if you want to chat with me or any of my teammates outside of YouTube, there's a Discord that we're all in, and we have some pretty fun discussions in there. You can check that out down in the description as well. So, with all that being said, have fun in the hunt, my fellow Belmonts. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.